Hello and welcome to Shorts in Psychology. In this video, we're going to talk about conformity. What is conformity and how does it influence behaviour? We'll also examine some of the different types of conformity and the factors that influence it. Conformity is a type of social influence involving a change in belief or behaviour in order to fit in with a group. This change is in response to real or imagined group pressure. Real pressure involves the physical presence of others, whereas imagined pressure involves the pressure of social norms and expectations. Group pressure may take different forms, for example, bullying, persuasion, teasing, or criticism. Regardless of its form, it can be a powerful force, able to change how large groups behave, to start or end conflicts, and much more. As much as most people like to think of themselves as unique individuals, in reality, humans are social beings, and for the sake of group cohesion, people are evolutionarily driven to fit in. That usually means copying the actions of others, looking to the group when deciding how to think or behave, or doing what is expected based on widely accepted, if often unspoken, social norms. According to Deutsch and Girard, there are two types of conforming influences. Informational social influence leads to conformity due to a desire to be correct. You are going along with the group because you think they know more than you do. Therefore, you change your own beliefs, attitudes, and behaviour because you think that the group is right and want to act appropriately and avoid standing out. Normative social influence is when you go along with the group so that they will like you. Therefore, conformity is occurring to gain approval and avoid punishment. Whilst your actions have changed to match the group, privately you do not agree with them. Conformity is typically motivated by a person's identification with a specific group. In theory, to be truly accepted as a member, an individual must adopt the norms and rules that govern the group's behaviour. These actions may, at first, differ from their own personal values. In time, however, the individual's underlying beliefs and attitudes may begin to shift as the opinions and behaviours of the group become ingrained and automatic. Kelman proposed three types of conformity. Internalisation refers to an individual changing their beliefs and behaviour due to a genuine acceptance of group norms, both publicly and privately. It is therefore the deepest level of conformity. For example, let's say an individual is convinced by friends to become vegan and replaces all animal products with vegan alternatives. The individual lives a vegan lifestyle both in the presence of friends and alone, as they believe it is a healthier and more humane lifestyle. This is an example of internalisation. Compliance refers to changing behaviour due to the request or direction of another individual. Unlike obedience, the other individual is not in a position of authority. Unlike internalisation, privately held beliefs and behaviours do not change, and compliance disappears in the absence of group pressure. Conformity is only public. A good example of compliance is doing someone a favour, such as helping a friend clean their house during a move. Identification refers to an individual changing their attitude or behaviour due to the influence of someone that they like or admire to identify with a person or group. Individuals are conforming to the expectations of a social role, and like compliance, it doesn't require a change in private opinion. An example of identification is dressing according to a popular fashion trend, despite not liking the look or finding it comfortable. As a result, you don't dress this way in other situations, such as at home or with family. So what type of social influence is involved in each type of conformity? As internalisation involves genuine acceptance of group norms and a desire to act appropriately, the reason for conforming is due to informational social influence. Compliance, on the other hand, involves only public conformity in order to gain approval and avoid punishment, and is thus due to normative social influence. Lastly, identification also doesn't require a change in private opinion, and the reason for conforming is in order to belong to a social group. Therefore, conformity in this case is also due to normative social influence. Let's now take a look at how a variety of different factors influence conformity. Conformity increases with group size up to about 4, but beyond that, group size has little effect on conformity. This is because most people want to agree with group opinion generally, but if the group is too large, may recognise that many people are mindlessly following the trend and may purposefully rebel. When members of a group believe that their thoughts, feelings or behaviour are supported or shared by at least one other person in the group, they are less likely to conform. This means that even if the group as a whole holds an opposing view, one person agreeing with a group member will lower conformity. We are most likely to conform when attention is drawn to doing what is expected of you. From a very young age, we learn that conforming by agreeing with other people and behaving as they do brings positive results. Group cohesiveness is the feeling of unity within a group that influences individual members to remain in the group, and therefore it helps keep the group together. In general, when a group has higher levels of cohesiveness, the pressure to conform is much stronger than when cohesiveness is low. Researchers have found that people from collectivist cultures are more likely to conform. Collectivist cultures are those that emphasise the needs and goals of the group as a whole over the needs and desires of each individual. Examples of collectivist cultures include China, India, and Indonesia. On the other hand, people from individualistic cultures like Australia that emphasise individual expression are less likely to conform. People are also more likely to conform in an ambiguous situation where they are unclear about how they should respond. This is because they will look to the group for guidance on what the correct behaviour is. Difficult tasks can lead to both increased and decreased conformity. Not knowing how to perform a difficult task makes people more likely to conform, but the increased difficulty can also make people more accepting of different responses, leading to less conformity. Lastly, a wide range of individual differences will also influence whether we conform. For example, personality traits including concern with being liked and the desire to be right increase conformity, whereas personal characteristics such as motivation to achieve and strong leadership abilities are linked with a decreased tendency to conform. Other examples of personal characteristics that may influence conformity include how familiar the individual is with the task and their status within the group. I hope this video has provided you with a deeper understanding of conformity. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time for another Shorts in Psychology.